This is a review on 4sevens new light, the Preon ReVO in stainless steel. It comes in the regular 4sevens type box, which is slightly rubberized cardboard. You open it and inside you have the light itself, a bag of accessories, and also you get a AAA battery. With the accessories, it's basically a split ring and an extra O-ring, Duracell battery, and also you get an operator's manual, which, I don't know, this light is actually pretty easy to operate, but it says that it's 2.8 inches long, 0.5 inches in diameter, and the aluminum version is 0.46 ounces, while the stainless steel version is 0.78 ounces. Both should have the runtime on low of 2.8 days at 1.5 lumens out the front, medium for 5.7 hours at 19.8 lumens out the front, and high runs for 0.9 hours at 82 lumens out the front. Then you also have strobe, SOS, and beacon. So basically, the head is a male end that screws into the body. It's kind of like the old arc lights where you have a like a donut that can flex in, so that it normally, when the head is unscrewed, battery doesn't really make contact until you screw the head down tight. The head has a nice brass heatsink on it, so it should help with the heat that this emitter will put out. The emitter is a Cree XPE R2. A lot of people were wondering why 4sevens went back to the R2 emitter, because, you know, he started using the R5, XPG R5 in all his other lights. But I mean, you know, I can understand why they went back to the XPE R2. The emitter is a lot smaller, so for a small light like this with a reflector, you don't want that big of an emitter or it won't really fit. This light is pretty amazing. Like, the size alone is great. You know, I wish I had my arc with me, but I don't. So I have some other lights like the Phoenix E01. You can see it's almost the same length, but in terms of diameter, you can definitely tell that the ReVO is a lot, you know, smaller in diameter. Here's a Phoenix E0. It's slightly longer than the E0 because it has this split ring attachment, but the actual light itself is basically the same length. And while the E0 looks to be the same diameter, the E0 has this hump here that makes it slightly wider in just that particular area. In terms of brightness, I would say that the low on the ReVO is around the same brightness as the low on the 123A Quark. The medium is around the same medium. The high on the 123A seems a bit higher than the high on this ReVO, but it's kind of hard to judge because I took some video footage of the light so you can see the beam shots, and the ReVO has a much larger hotspot, so while it might not seem as bright because of the hotspot, the overall light output is probably the same. It has the same user interface as the original Quark Preon, which is you twist it tight and it's low, medium, high, and then there are 3 hidden modes: the strobe, the SOS, and the beacon mode. So you have the light off and you switch through the modes 2 times really fast, and then you go into your special modes. I mainly got this light as a neck light because I don't really like a lot of things on my keys, and I've worn all of these other lights, the Phoenix E01, the Phoenix E0, and like the Arc AAA. I've worn them as neck lights, and definitely has to be my favorite. It's not really that much. It's not really that heavy. Like, a lot of people don't really like a stainless steel light for carry around a neck because they think it weighs too much. But the aluminum version weighs 0.46 ounces, while the stainless steel version only weighs 0.78 ounces. So not quite double, but I had a LD01 in stainless steel, and that light was much larger and it was definitely heavier. Like when I put it around my neck, I could definitely feel the extra weight because it was so much larger compared to this. Um, and actually, the main reason why I like it is the split ring attachment. Like you can see, it's actually quite large and it's very beefy compared to some other lights. Well, this one has it on the side, but let's say on here, you can definitely tell the difference that this you'll have no problems getting any size split ring into, while with the other lights you really have to get the smallest size split ring. With this, I don't even have to use a split ring because to be honest, gutted paracord will just go right in, and if you force it, even ungutted paracord will slip into that slip ring. It has pretty nice knurling. I know a lot of people complained about the original Preon had that it was too smooth. Like I guess if you got the regular version, it would be okay because it was slightly rubbery. But if you got the titanium version, then it would be really smooth. The head itself doesn't have any knurling, but it does have these grooves cut into it. So you should have no problems gripping the light. Uh, it has the O-ring for IPX8 waterproofness, and it seems to work out pretty good. I dunked in the water and no water got in, just there was some water on the other side of the O-ring. But yeah, overall it's a pretty nice light. I'll probably put in a shot of it in macro mode so you could get up close details. But $57. It's for the stainless steel version. It's kind of high priced. Definitely considering the original Preons were only $37. Even if you get the ReVO in aluminum, it's still $10 more. But for me, this has a lot of features that I want in a light. Small, it's low first, there's no PWM, it has very long runtime, a nice beefy split ring attachment point. I'm willing to pay the extra money just to get a light that I want. The only thing I can say that I don't really like is that 4sevens didn't come out with a titanium version. So hopefully if he does so in the future, I'll most likely get another one of these in titanium. But yeah, one of the things I didn't like about the original Preon was that the keyring attachment seemed kind of flimsy. Like, I guess, most likely if you use it, you wouldn't really have any issues with it, but it just seemed really weak and thin metal, and I didn't want to risk losing my light because of that. So, I was definitely glad that he came out with this that I could get. I almost got a mini AA to wear around my neck instead, but that I ended up not doing so because it seemed like it would have been too big and too heavy. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this and go into a macro mode.